Osun State tops the online voters registration. JAMB directs candidates to re-upload 2025 WASC results. While on the foreign scene, France summons U.S. envoy over allegations to tackle surge in anti-Semitism. Good evening and welcome to the major reports. I am Olubomi Ajiboye Agiola. President Bola Tinubu has arrived in Brasilia, capital of Brazil, to begin a state visit aimed at deepening ties between Nigeria and Brazil through high-level meetings and the signing of several bilateral agreements. The president, who flew in from Los Angeles, was received at the Brasilia Air Base by senior Brazilian officials, including Ambassador Carlos Duarte, Secretary for Africa and the Middle East, and Brazil's ambassador to Nigeria, Carlos Gasset, Speaker, House of Representatives Abbas Tajuddin, Deputy Senate President Jibril Barau, Kaduna State Governor Uba Sani, and Plateau State Governor Barrister Caleb Mufwang also received the president. The Nigerian Labour Congress has criticized plans by the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission to review the salaries of political office holders upward. In a statement, the union described the move as inequitable and insensitive to the realities of ordinary Nigerians. The NLC, through its president Joe Ajaero, condemned the proposal, warning that it will deepen inequality between politicians and workers while pushing more Nigerians into poverty. It will be recalled that the chairman, Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission, Mohammed Shehu, said that the current earnings for top government officials were inadequate and outdated given their responsibilities and the country's economic realities. Meanwhile, the proposed move by the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission to review Nigeria's revenue allocation formula among the federal, state, and local governments, as well as the initiation of the upward review of the remuneration packages of political and public office holders, has been generating reactions among Nigerians. Those who spoke with OSBC News supported the review for the federating units, however described the upward review for remuneration of politicians as ill-timed. Oluchi Amoda reports.
Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission, RMAFC, is the agency statutorily empowered to oversee the sharing and allocation of revenue among all three tiers of government in Nigeria. Recently, the agency announced that it has commenced a fresh review of Nigeria's allocation formula among the federal, state, and local governments. Under the existing arrangement, the federal government receives 52.68% of revenue from the federation account, while the states get 26.72% and 20.60% go to local governments. The development comes more than 3 decades after the last adjustment. Reacting to this, a public affairs analyst, Comrade Moshood Fadari, described it as a welcome development, adding that it is in line with the tenets of true federalism.
I think it's in order, because when you look at the spirit of federalism, the concept of federalism, it suggests that there should be less resources at the center. The subnationals are supposed to be more financially buoyant because they are more closer to the people. And of course, the federal government only exists in Abuja. The majority of us don't live in Abuja. For me, federal government's proposal on increment or increasing allocation to state and to local government is not only the right step in the right direction, it is in conformity with the spirit of federalism. Besides
the move to produce the fair, just, and equitable revenue sharing formula among the three tiers of government, the RMAFC is also proposing an upward review of the remuneration packages of political and public office holders across the country, such as the president, vice president, ministers, governors, and lawmakers, among others. The Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) and CRAP have strongly opposed the move. In his reaction, a legal practitioner, Mr. Bukola Onifade, and a public affairs analyst, Comrade Fadari, described the move as ill-timed and a sign of misplaced priority, which shows insensitivity of the government to the plight of the masses. They advised the government to shelve the plan and implement policies that will uplift the standard of living of the people.
With the kind of hardship we have been subjected to in Nigeria in this present administration, I don't think that is the next thing for him to do. I don't think that is the next thing for the president to say he wants to do for now. When the minimum wage promised the federal government workers has not been paid, the local government allocation in Osun State, where you deprive the traditional rulers, the local government staff, and many other people that will benefit teachers from, you deprive them their rights.
This is not the right time to do that. If you ask me why, election is fast approaching, and lack of confidence and trust, what we call trust deficit, from the people to the government is so huge. And I can only encourage the federal government to stay such an action for now. Such an action is better taken maybe when the government has a new term or when another government comes on board.
The RMAFC had recently informed journalists that President Bola Tinubu currently earns 1.5 million naira monthly, while ministers receive less than 1 million naira. The figures he described as a joke, given Nigeria's size and population. The commission had argued that the current pay structure had remained unchanged since 2008, describing it as paltry and not reflecting the responsibilities of the offices. Oluchi Amda, OSBC News.
The Independent National Electoral Commission has released statistics on online continuous voter registration with Ogun, Lagos, and Osun states, leading the table of those that are registered online ahead of the 2027 general elections. A statement by the National Commissioner and Chairman of the Information and Voter Education Committee, Sam Olumeko, said a total of 1,379,342 Nigerians registered nationwide in just 1 week. Mr. Olumeko revealed that 4 of the 5 states in the southeast are leading the table from the rear with a cumulative figure of 1,998 persons. He noted that Osun State is leading the pack with 393,269, followed by Lagos State with 222,205, while Ogun State is 132,823, and the Federal Capital Territory is 107,682, among others. The Commission, however, appealed to the public that the ongoing voter registration is only open to Nigerian citizens who are at least 18 years old and who are not registered voters. The joint admission, the House of Representatives has queried the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission over the 59 billion naira Central Bank of Nigeria loan to electricity distribution companies for the execution of the National Mass Metering Program. Chairman of the Joint Committee of House investigating the disbursement and utilization of the loan, Uchenna Okonkwo, made this known in a statement. The committee also faulted Meristem Wealth Management Limited and Nestle for approving a firm to receive 0.5% of annual collections from electricity distribution companies until 2030. Okonkwo said NMMP, approved by the federal government in 2020 to close the metering gap in Nigeria, has faulted in achieving its objective. The lawmaker added that the committee gathered that the Nigerian electricity distribution companies, including Abuja, Ikeja, Eko, Enugu, Kano, and Jos Discos, are indebted to the CBN for disbursement, made them to install meters, but NERC has not verified the installations of those meters, the committee vowed to invoke relevant constitutional provisions against anyone found obstructing investigation. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board has directed all candidates who uploaded their O-level results before the release of the final 2025 West African Senior School Certificate Examination results to revisit accredited centers and re-upload their results. The examinations body explained that all previously uploaded results have been cleared from its system to prevent discrepancies and ensure that only the official WAEC final results are used for admission processing. It noted that some candidates who sat for the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination with awaiting results had prematurely uploaded incomplete WAEC records before the final release. The body has mandated a fresh upload for every candidate irrespective of whether the new results differ from those uploaded earlier or to remain eligible for admission consideration. As public outcry continues to trail the controversial examination results released by the West African Examination Council, WAEC, educationists in Nigeria have called for the repositioning of the examination body. Those who spoke with OSBC News against the backdrop of the two different results released by WAEC described the situation as disturbing and could spell doom for the nation if not urgently addressed. Let's hear their views.
Is Nigeria even getting it right? It's very unfortunate that WAEC conducted exam in such a condition. Students writing their paper even at night is very, very unfortunate. Then we were told the result was out after some days. They cancelled it and brought another one. I think with this situation, but the fact remains that it's not even a WAEC alone. JAMB did something similar. Generally speaking, if we can't get it right in our education, then I doubt our future.
The cancellation of the results being released is disturbing, and it's quite unfortunate. Many of the students, they've printed the firstly released results. Those that passed well, they started jubilating. But now that they said they've retrieved the firstly released results, is giving people concern. Parents are confused and we don't know what will come out of it. Because some of these results released firstly, that was very nice. The one they release now, they've changed it, and I don't know why WAEC as a body, as an international body, because it's not working only in Nigeria, should be doing such a thing.
You see, if it's about the operation, WAEC is guilty. You don't want to agree. But about performances, it's not the fault of WAEC. At least teachers over the years are the examiners. They are the chief examiners. They don't have to mark papers. WAEC is safe. The staff don't mark papers. They only coordinate. So if it's about the problem of releasing two results now, it's the fault of WAEC, but performances is not their fault. You know, West Africa is international. WAEC is an international organization, and many countries, in fact, they recognize WAEC than NECO because they know it's about the configuration of many West African countries, and it has name. So I don't know what type of problem they had by releasing two results. It's not a good thing. It's not a good omen. Did they release the two results in Ghana? Did they release the two results in Gambia? Did they release the results in Sierra Leone? So these are the things. If it's only in Nigeria, well, it's too bad.
The move by WAEC to introduce computer-based tests, CBT, from next year. The analysts described it as a welcome development that meets global standards. They, however, warned that the challenges of poor network, incessant power supply, and infrastructural deficits could serve as the hindrance to the process, warning the government to put proper mechanisms in place before its implementation.
Yeah, but it's like we are not ready for it, because at urban area it may be okay, there may be light. There are a lot of students in rural areas. There are lots of villages that even up till now no electricity, and to do that kind of even at this urban area at times they will say no network. There was a time just last week I was in the cyber cafe. I wanted to transfer some things. They said no, for more than 4 or 5 hours no network. So I was unable to do what I went there to do. So in that kind of situation, it is good, but to me, we are not ripe for that for now. There are a lot of things that needs to be put in place for such a thing to be okay.
Talk about CBT test. As far as I'm concerned, and majority of we educationists, we believe that we are not ripe for such a thing now. We have a lot of challenges. Electricity problem is there. I don't know how many keg or liter of diesel that we'll be using before we can conduct an examination. We have infrastructural challenges as of now. Even if they want to use the private public that have been writing JAMBs, they are not enough. But subjects like English and mathematics, which is general subjects, I don't know how many days we will use in conducting it.
Well, I don't know how prepared they are, but JAMB is doing it. So they just have to, many centers, they have to be cancelled as well in rural areas. They have to bring them to city where there are facilities. It's our time now we start that thing. All our children, when they travel abroad, in fact, they don't do any exam by pencil and paper again. They don't do it again, other than lecture. It's CBT. That's what they are using for their examination. So if we start it, since Japan started it, I think it's a very good thing. But the preparation has to be solid. And I want to say that it will affect the many candidates. Not in terms of something because of the in some rural areas. I want to say me and examiner myself before, I know there are miracle centers in rural areas where they just do Orijo, they bring Orijo in, they do everything. So type of thing will be stopped. But you have to, like any villages now that don't have CBTs, advising for that thing, we have to come to Osogbo. We have to go to Big Gata. And WAEC now is supposed to manage the school to have the center before it can be approved for WAEC exam.
Wife of Osun State Governor, Mrs. Titulola Adeleke, has applauded Nigeria's First Lady's distribution of business boosting items to women in order to increase their income and contribute meaningfully to the economic growth of the society. Mrs. Adeleke gave the commendation during the flag-off ceremony of the business boosting items on behalf of Mrs. Oluremi Tinubu to the beneficiaries at the premises of Osun First Lady's office. She hailed Senator Oluremi Tinubu's life-transforming programs aimed at empowering women to support their husbands as well as contribute to their quota to national development. Mrs. Adeleke, who doubles as the state coordinator of the President's Wife's Renewed Hope Initiative, thanked the office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on SDG, headed by Mrs. Felicia Annie, for making the program a reality, noting that such gesture is important due to position women hold in the family and the society. She maintained that the Women Empowerment Program is in line with President Bola Tinubu's Renewed Hope agenda to guarantee inclusive economic growth for women and girls. Earlier, the Senior Special Assistant to President Tinubu on SDG, Mrs. Annie, eulogized Osun State Governor and the First Lady for their selfless service to humanity, stressing that the Renewed Hope initiative of the Nigeria's First Lady is designed to better the lots of masses. Former Minister of External Affairs Professor Ibrahim Gambari has raised concern over the proliferation of insurgent groups in Africa, putting their number at more than 1,000. Professor Gambari spoke in Abuja today during the African Chiefs of Defense Staff Summit 2025, which brought together the first chiefs from 36 states to discuss regional security threats. He stressed the need for African nations to first secure their individual states before building regional and continental frameworks, adding that indigenous defense industries and homegrown security technologies were crucial to addressing the challenge. ECOWAS Commissioner for Political Affairs, Peace and Security, represented by Ambassador Abdel Fattah Musa, urged the UN to fund at least 75% of African-led counter-terrorism operations. The president of ECOWAS, Dr. Omar Touré, warned of rising insecurity in the Sahel, noting the region accounted for 51% of conflict-related deaths recorded in Africa last year. You are welcome to the sports segment. The Nigeria Sports Commission has officially inaugurated two important committees, the Election Petitions Committee and the Election Appeals Committee, as part of its strategic initiative to ensure transparency, fairness and integrity in sports federation elections. In alignment with international standards and its renewed commitments to excellence in sports governance, the NSC has selected respected legal professionals, administrators and media practitioners with exceptional track records to serve on the committees. The chairman of the Election Petitions Committee, Mr. Denin Ikia, is a respected legal professional and an expert in sport ethics, serving as a member of the Ethics Committee of the Federation International de l'Automobile, the global governing body for motorsport. He is also a former member of the Nigeria Football Federation Appeals Committee, where he played a vital role in adjudicating important electoral matters. Another member is Mr. Chike Oyacho, a seasoned legal practitioner with extensive knowledge of electoral jurisprudence and an expert in administrative oversight and legal compliance. While on the foreign scene, France says it will summon the U.S. ambassador to Paris, Charles Kushner, over allegations of failing to tackle a surge in anti-Semitism. According to reports, Mr. Kushner wrote an open letter to President Emmanuel Macron, making a comment that there had been an explosion of hatred towards Jews in France since the war in Gaza began, calling on the president to tone down his criticism on Israel. The U.S. ambassador added that he is ready to work with President Macron and other French leaders to forge a plan in tackling the issue. It was learned that Mr. Kushner's letter echoed comments made by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who also wrote a letter to President Macron last week. Meanwhile, France plans to formally recognize Palestine in September this year. And that ends the major reports on OSBC TV. It was edited by Michael Adeni. I am Olubomi Ajiboye Agola, thanking you for being there. Good evening.